Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Suzanne Major. She's the founder and CEO of Treasured Time. It's her first time on the show. So first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Treasured Time. Tell me what it is.
So we are a nonprofit, and our mission is to grant the wishes of parents who have life-threatening illnesses, and we help them to create a memory with their children.
So if they know that maybe there's not a lot of time left, you provide them with, I guess, quality time before their time is up, basically?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not all of our families are terminal. They just have to be life-threatening in order to qualify. And that's really important for us because we always want there to be hope for our families. And we do have a family who's, one of the moms is here today, and she is in remission. And that's what we hope for all of our families. But while they're going through a difficult time, we're giving them a break, like a chance to get away from the hospitals and the doctors and give them time as a family so they can create some memories.
Better quality life while they're going
Exactly.
through it. So how did it all start? How did it begin? What's the genesis of it?
So I had a friend who had, her husband had melanoma, and he was terminal. And they had 3 children, 10, 8, and 5. And the 8-year-old also had cancer. And so this family was going through so much that I just wanted to help them. So they didn't want help financially because they were just too proud for that,
Right.
which is understandable, of course. So I went looking for something that was kind of like what Make-A-Wish does for children, but for the parents. And I couldn't find anything out there. So I realized at that point that we were missing the boat, that these children who were, going through this with their parents, and, the parents having to take care of their children in a time when they're struggling.
Right. They can barely take care of themselves, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I felt like we needed something for those families. And so I went home and I said to my husband, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And he said,
What?
He said, do you have any idea what that means?
Yeah.
And I said, no,
Yeah.
but I'll figure it out. And that was about 3.5 years ago.
Now, from the point of coming up with the idea and to actually seeing it through, I would imagine is a long process, probably a more daunting process than most people know to try to start a nonprofit, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I really did have no idea what that meant. And it was just a matter of starting to talk to different people. Hey, I have this idea, and how do I go about it? Filling out 501c3 paperwork is an absolute nightmare. Anybody that's done it knows how.
Because you have to account for everything and every little
Yes.
detail and every cent and all
Yes.
that. Yeah.
And it's it was important for us to know and to show that it was being done right. And so we were very meticulous when we did the paperwork, and we got approved the first time.
Wow,
So,
congratulations. So you had the idea, but did you know right off the bat while you were thinking about it exactly how you would be able to help the parents? What would you be able to offer in ways of services and help in general? Did you already know in your head?
I did.
Okay.
So when my parents, for their 65th wedding anniversary, they decided that instead of leaving us money in their wills, that they would prefer to give us a memory. And so they took 17 of us on a cruise, their children, their grandchildren, and their grandchildren's significant others. And so the 18 of us went on this cruise. And now both of my grandparents have passed, but I still have those memories from that trip. And it's one of my favorite memories of my grandparents. And so that I knew immediately what I wanted to do for these families, because it's really not about the finances, because those will come and go.
Right.
And, there could be a lot, there could be a little, but it's just, this is something that we're giving them a memory.
Right.
Like, we're giving them something that, even if, God forbid, the worst, those children will always have that memory of their parents. And that's something so special that, our families tell us, like, you don't understand how much that meant to us. They tell us they could never help us to understand what it meant without having us gone through it ourselves.
Now, you mentioned, its similarities to Make-A-Wish for kids. In that respect, do you reach out to organizations and companies and ask them if they want to help out or be a part of it? So if some parent has a wish, so to speak, of something that they'd like to do or get away for a little while, that sort of facilitates the opportunity, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do reach out to corporations, and for a lot of it is like sponsorship for our events and things like that, and just trying to get the community involved, our small community and the expanded community, just trying to reach out because we are all funded just through donations and sponsorships. And so that's a really big thing for us is to make those organizations aware and hopefully, have them come forward with some sort of a backing that can help us grant wishes.
It's easy for them to say yes if there are children involved. Are they as willing to help out when you're talking about adults in need as well?
We find that we definitely struggle more.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks when a kid is sick, a child is sick, it's an awful thing,
Right.
and no parent should ever have to deal with that. But when a child is sick, at least they have their parents for emotional and financial support. But when you have a parent that's sick, they can't rely on their children for emotional support or financial support.
Right.
And they're still trying to take care of them and give them that love. And I don't think that people look at what we do sometimes and realize just how important that is. It's not really about the parent.
Right.
It's about the children. It's about giving the children a break from
Right.
everything that they're dealing with. And
Because they're so
So-
affected by what's going on with the parent.
very much so.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, sadly, those children lose their parent. And, now all they're left with are those memories that we've given them. And so I think it's so important, and sometimes people don't realize because they just think, oh, it's not a kid. It is for the children what we do. And, we've been told by children who have lost their parents that were our wish recipients how they think about those memories all the time. We had one family, our first family, Heather Bruno, and she left behind a 21, 19, and 8-year-old.
Boy.
And they tell us, they think of the trip all the time. And it really just makes them happy to remember those good memories.
And I would imagine you're also not helping out just the children, but also the family members of the parent, the close friends of the parent, who are all not only emotionally impacted and involved in what's going on with that parent, but all, they're helping out as best they can too, right?
Yes, we've definitely found, and this is one of the things that we talk about as a team all the time, we don't just impact that family.
Right.
We impact everyone who knows that family. We just helped a family in Derby and the Chevarella family, and they had a whole community come around them and support them and come to a fundraiser that we had going on that wasn't specifically for that family, but it kind of ended up being for that family because it was in their town. And just seeing the support of the community around our families is just unbelievable. They see what we're doing and they kind of feel like they're a part of something really special.
Whenever I have a nonprofit on and they talk about how they kind of survive mostly or solely on the financial generosity of people in general, I always find myself asking, regardless of what's going on in the economy, that people always seem to be able to dig into their pocket a little bit and help out. But how has that experience been for you? Are people able and willing to help out?
Yeah, there's definitely people that are out there that are willing to donate. And anytime, we have a fundraiser, we did an online fundraiser last year, and it was just sending it to people via email, and that did really well. But, I think just times in general are hard. I think people are more willing to open their pockets to donate if they know someone who's in that situation or if they've experienced that situation themselves, because I think they realize how important it is.
As a nonprofit, are you able to apply for things like grants and other financial assistance?
We are really just starting to get into that right now.
Okay.
We have such a small team, and it takes a lot of people to run this nonprofit, and we don't have enough volunteers.
So you're looking not only for financial donations, but also just volunteers in general.
Absolutely.
What kind of skill sets do they need to have?
So there's so many different areas that we're looking for help in, as you can imagine, with a startup nonprofit. We need people in marketing. We need people to help us with fundraising. We need people to help us create events and going out and looking for raffle baskets. There's ways to be very involved, and there's ways to just give a couple of hours a month, and we'll take it all. We just, as we grow bigger, we need the help.
Yeah, and as the CEO of a very new nonprofit, you're probably wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of different jobs, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, luckily, we have an amazing team of volunteers. there's not enough of us. But what we do have, everybody works so hard.
What is basically your serviceable area? Is it geographical? I mean, how far away can somebody ask for your help?
We are all throughout Connecticut right now. So we've helped families up in Watertown, like up near this area, New London, and we've helped families down in Stamford and Fairfield. So we really help families all over Connecticut.
So one way that you are able to help your organization financially is with fundraisers and events. What are some of those that are coming up?
So we have a really fun event coming up in November, and it's November 20th, I believe. 20th? 17th? 17th.
Okay.
My little helper off stage
Right.
over there. And that's always the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And we have it at Villa Bianca in Seymour, Connecticut. And we basically take over the whole place. So we have one room that's got like a shopping night, and there's like 45 to 50 vendors. And then we have another room that has a wine tasting. And
You can always get people interested in that for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
and then they drink, and then they
Right.
want to go shop. I
Right.
mean, right?
Perfect. Nefarious, but perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's such a great event. And the wine tasting we just added last year, and we had over 80 people show up the first
Let's
year.
add some wine
So
tasting to this event. Yeah.
how can we get people
Yeah.
to spend more money?
But it's a great time and it's for a great cause.
It's so much fun. We have live music, and this year we're actually going to have Harmony on the Sound is a chorus in the area, and they're looking to possibly come and bring some of the singers with them who are going to be singing for us during the night.
That event and any upcoming events you may have are always going to be on the website, correct?
Yes.
And
And on our Facebook page, too. Our Facebook page is usually even more up to date than the website.
I'm sure the website has links for people just to go right to your social media, your Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
So if they went to your website, they'd be able to go. And is the website also the place for people to make just donations if they want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What is the
There's a
website?
big donate button.
Yeah. Click it.
Click on the
it.
donate button. It's www.treasuredtime.org.
What else is on the website?
We've got some of our past families, so you can read their stories, and just some of our upcoming events and some pictures and things like that. You could also learn about us as an organization, how to donate, learn about our board.
And also use the website if they want to volunteer too, correct?
Yes, so you could. There's a contact us on the website, so you can contact us and send us a message, and we are pretty quick in responding.
There's a donate button and a contact button and the Facebook button. It's all there on the website, right?
All there, yes.
Tell us about our guest in the second segment.
Oh, so Lindsay Provenzano is one of our families, and she'll have to remind you what number she was.
Okay.
But she was one of our earlier families, and she's an amazing woman. She had cancer, and she is in remission right now. And her wish was just to get away and spend some time with her two young children, because when she was going through her treatments, her children had a really hard time because there wasn't a lot of family time. It was a lot of mom's sick and is going through treatment. It doesn't always feel good. And so we sent them away for a couple days for a long weekend, and just to Great Wolf Lodge, and just to get away and be a family. And she's in remission now, thank God. So she really wanted to give back. And so now she is one of our volunteers. And she actually chairs the wine tasting portion.
Of course she does.
I mean, who doesn't like wine, right?
right. Hold on, I've got to test all this. Yeah.
We got to make sure it works.
Sample it, yeah. All right, well, we'll meet her in the second segment. Suzanne Major, founder, CEO of Treasured Time, thank you for being on the show.
Thank
we
you for
appreciate
having me.
We will take a short break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay there. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guests today are from Treasured Time, and in this second segment, her name is Lindsay Provenzano. She is a past beneficiary and now a volunteer and a spokesperson for Treasured Time. So thank you for being on the show. Very much
Thanks for having
appreciated.
me.
Now, Suzanne mentioned your story a little bit in the latter part of her segment, but if you wanted to pick it up, tell us your story. What happened? Bring us from the beginning.
I had stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I caught it nice and early, thank God, and it was a curable cancer. But I still had to go through the chemo and the radiation, and at the time, my children were 5 and 3. And we actually had just suffered a tragic loss of my father 3 months prior. So we were all kind of recovering from that, and now cancer.
Emotionally, now physically, yeah, boy.
So it was a lot. I mean, it was hard for me as a mom trying to, take care of them and still take care of me. And they just kind of lost a bit of their childhood that summer. The social worker at Griffin Hospital contacted me about Treasure Time and, said you would probably qualify for this and it would be great for your family. So Treasure Time sent us away for a weekend to Great Wolf Lodge, and the kids had the best time ever. It was the first time that they didn't have to worry about mommy being sick. They smiled, they laughed, I smiled. It was definitely just a breather. We got to reconnect as a family. My husband was so busy being mom, and two, he got to just enjoy himself. So it was just a really great time for our family.
What do you think would have happened? What would your life have been like if you had not had this opportunity? I mean, would you have ever been able to make that reconnection and live a normal life again, at least as far, emotionally?
I think it would have taken a longer time. It gave us that break, and we definitely needed it. And coming off of that trip, it was just new perspective. My treatment was almost over, and the kids were, they knew that mommy was getting better. We got to have fun, and now the light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
That type of thing. So it definitely just brought our spirits back up and kind of let us recharge.
And you were in such a fortunate position of in remission, and then also had the opportunity to take advantage of what Treasure Time could offer so that you could, like you said, recharge. But for some people, it might be a situation where they could use this, but at the same time still know in the back of their mind that they either still had a long way to go, or maybe it might not last that much longer.
Well, absolutely. Sometimes, unfortunately, this is a last vacation for these families, and it's the last memory they get to make as a complete family. And I was lucky enough that that was not my situation, but that's kind of why I give back now, because I know how important this is for these families, and I just want to do my part to try to make this available for more families.
The idea for you, I mean, I always find that, you always have a vested interest when it affects you or maybe someone close to you in your life, and obviously this does. And the best thing that you can do is just get the word out, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I make sure I try to volunteer whenever I can for this, and I spread the word all over my Facebook to my friends and family. They all know this is happening, and that I'm a part of this awesome organization now. And, to my kids, they spread it around school.
Right.
They know that they helped us, and they talked about it to their friends, that we got to go on vacation. And
That's good that the kids are talking to other kids about it, because, like we mentioned in the first segment, it not only benefits you, but it benefits the whole family, including the children.
Absolutely.
So they need to know. They'll tell their parents, tell friends, and it's that domino effect. It's that cascading effect that you want, that, spread, and as many people get the word out as possible.
And two, I bring them to every single event. They know what it's like to shake the can and try to get donations too. They are learning to give back, because that's just what we do. So.
And so going through it, being a part of it, experiencing it, especially being a new nonprofit that it is, the necessity for, trying to get the word out, but also, if possible, generating as much interest in people maybe making donations financially, and also volunteering too.
Absolutely.
So talk about that a little bit.
Well, this can't work if we don't have the donations. We can't grant another wish for another family without donations. So, we've done events like at the Terrificon here.
Yeah, I want to bring that up because, to be honest with you, that's how we met. We were at that event. We've had those people, Mitch and those guys from Terrificon, on the show, and you just happened to be at that show while we were there attending it. We bumped into you, we talked, and we thought it would be a great idea to bring your organization on. How did you get involved with them?
My uncle is behind the scenes with Terrificon, and he got us in there. And it was our first time, a different crowd of people that had never really heard of us, and also a different part of the state. So it was nice to really spread the word and get our name out there to a lot of people. And, we did get donations. We got to meet a lot of celebrities that now know about us.
You mean like Iron Man?
We did meet Iron Man, yes.
He came up to the table, yeah.
So it was a great opportunity for us to just be out in the public.
Exposure is what you want.
Exactly,
A lot
exposure.
of people, right?
And a lot of families were there.
Right.
So we kind of hit home with a lot of, parents who, this could be them, unfortunately. So, getting the word out was the biggest thing for us, and I think opened up some doors.
Will you be there next year for that event too?
Absolutely, we will be there.
Yeah. So tell me more about the events coming up so people can get involved.
The next event is our wine tasting and shopping night.
And oh yeah, I forgot you're in charge of the wine tasting.
I'm in charge of the
Yeah.
wine tasting. Last year was our first year, and we did pretty well. There's also a silent auction that goes on in the wine room, and we have some awesome prizes that people can bid on throughout the night. One is Disney tickets. Just
Wow,
saying.
nice.
4 Park Hopper Disney tickets. So if anybody
Wow.
wants those, come to our event.
And you bid, right?
Yeah, it's a silent auction, so you bid on them. And every single dime goes directly back to Treasure Time.
What's the value on those things? Do you know?
Those are almost $500.
Oh man, yeah. So that's
So-
good. And that's one thing to bid on alone. There are other things
Yes,
too.
we have
right?
some other fun stuff coming
And
up.
like we said in the first segment, if you've had some wine, maybe you're more apt to go ahead and go ahead, put me down for
Bid
for
bid
4
some
of
more.
them. Yeah, yeah. So and that's only one of many events that you have, right?
Right.
Right. And all those events are listed on the website. So
Absolutely.
if you maybe for some reason you can't attend this, there'll be some other ones coming up. And also, you're looking for volunteers.
Always.
What do you need? Who do you need?
Just bodies.
Warm
From my
bodies.
standpoint, when I was running the table at Terrificon, I just needed bodies there to help spread the word, hand out flyers, try to get donations. So sometimes it's hard when it's weekends. Not everybody wants to give up their weekend, but we could definitely use the bodies.
What kind of questions were people asking you when, for example, if you're at an event like the Terrificon and people are just learning about the organization, what kind of questions do they ask?
Well, what do we do, and how does it benefit the families we work for or work with? And I usually share my story because I have that personal
Right.
touch to it. So I tell them my story and how it helped our family, and that usually encourages them to, either ask more questions or make a donation.
Are there any other events like that you're going to be at? It's not necessarily a fundraiser, but it's just an opportunity to expose yourself to people so they can learn about the organization.
Throughout the year, we try to reach other events. I know in the past we've done the Oyster Festival, random festivals and fairs. We try to get a table.
Right. And those are big too. With just
Right. We
regular
do
people
have
coming.
a kids closet event coming up where we will just be there, with a table collecting donations. I think that's in Ansonia.
Does your job and the things that you do change or are different depending on the time of year it is? Like, for example, we're going into fall now. When you get into winter, are things different? What's going on then?
It definitely changes the type of events. In the summer we have our huge softball event. That's our biggest fundraiser event.
is that right?
It's a softball marathon, and that just was last weekend.
Okay.
And so, yeah, depending on the weather, depending on the time of year, kind of changes. Sometimes we have paint and sip nights. That's something good for the winter because everyone, wants to just come in out of the cold. So we do those type of things. So yeah, we have an entire list, and they change too. We come up with new ideas, and that's also what's great about new volunteers. They bring in new ideas because sometimes our ideas get a little stale.
Right. Fresher minds, new
Yeah.
minds. Earlier you talked about the Facebook page, and I think that a Facebook page and social media in general is perfect for an organization like this because that's really one of the ways that you're spreading the word. People can be interactive. They can like it. You can have followers. Is your followers, is that list growing on your Facebook page?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, good.
All the time.
Good. Good. And there'll be a link right to that from the website if you just want to go there, which is?
www.treasuredtime.org.
All right, sounds good. Do we want to take another break and come back? Or okay. Well, Lindsay Provenzano. It took me a couple of times to get it right. An early beneficiary, and now a volunteer and doing a great job. And again, always looking for more volunteers whenever possible, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you
always.
for being on the show and also for sharing your story. Greatly appreciated. That is our show for today. You can see the show, by the way, and many others on our YouTube site. Until next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.